you'll see a nice hot spark. Today we're going to talk about my 650. We have a ignition issue that I've got to solve, and I think what we're going to end up doing is changing the MSD enhancer. So what's happening with my ski is once you get over about 50 miles an hour, the spark is blowing out. Okay. I've lost a capacitor or two on my MSD enhancer. They haven't made these in 20 years, so I can't get another one. I've tried to find others in the past to have as a spare, and I don't. So we're going to change the entire ignition system to a total loss ignition. I've already got the coil and everything set up because the way the MSD enhancer works, it uses the same coil and setup as the enhancer. So I think if I can get to this easily enough here, I can. Okay, here you go. So this is what the enhancer looks like. It looks just like a total loss system, and it's wired back here. So the only thing different is we're going to change out to a total loss, which means we've got to pull the flywheel, pull the stator, pull the charging system, and then we're going to use a setup like this over here. So I dug through my hoard, and I have found, ironically, the ugliest, most worn out pickup plate has the hottest spark. So we're going to use this one here, and I found a total loss system here from 1998. So it's this much newer. But what we're going to do is I've already tested it here, but I will demonstrate it because we always test everything before we go to install it. So we have the box here, we have the hot wire, the ground wire, we have the on-off switch wire here. We have our coil, orange and blue, which are our coil hots. We've got hooked up to spark plugs, and we've got the spark plugs grounded back to the battery. And then to demonstrate, we use a magnet. There's magnets in this flywheel here. So the flywheel has two magnets that triggers front cylinder, rear cylinder, okay? So I have a magnet here to demonstrate. And as I drag the magnet across, you'll see a nice hot spark. The only downside is this LED here does not work. Now we need this LED to set up static timing on the motor. That's not a big deal because once we have it set up, we never need that LED again. I found another total loss system with an LED that works. So we'll set the static timing with this LED, with this box, with the LED that works. And then we'll wire all this into the system. We'll show you guys how to do that. And then we'll go lake test. Never leave a bolt behind. Took me a minute to find it, but it showed up. As you can see, my 650 is not like any other 650. Other than the hull, there's really not much stock. You can see I've changed to a Yamaha Superjet style handle pull bracket with a shortened handle pull. I think I've removed 3 or 4 inches out of this handle pull. And then oversized gas tank. We've got a R&D pipe for a 750 motor. And most of the electrics were stock. I use a lightweight flywheel, but that's all going to come off now. We're going to switch over to a different ignition system. This is a 750 small pin with some porting work done to it. And other than that, it's pretty much simple. So we'll go ahead and get the ignition torn apart now. This ground will go back to the motor because we got to have a ground for the motor to set the starter relay. And then start switch is here, factory start switch. The stop switch comes through here. So we'll have stop switch, and engine ground. And we're not going to reuse the trigger wire because the stator's going away. That's all that is. It's that simple. And then we'll have to make a block-off plate for this because the stator's not being used anymore. Everything's going to go to the ignition system. You can see where my timing is only advanced a couple degrees. That's all it takes. This ski went pretty fast, and you'll see it's only going to be a couple miles an hour faster with the total loss on it. This stator is in incredibly good shape. So we're going to save it for another project down the road, I'm sure. Up here. Always grease your stator when you have it out. It's the best time to do it. So as you can see, we got our degree wheel set up. We're at top dead center. And what we're going to do is we need to figure out our distance here for the timing mark, because when we put the flywheel on, we're going to be rotating it back and forth, triggering the ignition system, and we need to trigger it at 25 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over here to 25 degrees. And then what we'll do is we're going to take a measurement from the top here to see where that dimension is. That way when we put the flywheel on and we start measuring back and forth, we'll see whether we need to retard or advance the timing plate to get the timing that we need. So our number is 1 inch, 1.425. So as you can see, we got our red light on, because we're spot on. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to just before it touches. We're going to check our measurement. So it looks like we're retarded a couple degrees. So we're going to take and move the stator advanced 2 degrees. That's what we need to do. So we're going to unhook this. Okay. Pull our flywheel. Ooh, we're so close. We are so close. All right. Now we're tickling right now. Let's see here. Okay. We're splitting hairs now, but it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. And that's perfect, guys. Now, we tighten the flywheel, we tighten the plate, and we do everything. We check it again. It's going to be a couple thousandths off, which will probably be half a degree. I'm okay with that. We're spot on right now. This is perfect. We'll tighten everything up, and then we'll start wiring this system into the ski. It should be 2/1000. I can live with that. And it's retarding it 1/2 degree, so I'm okay with that. This should be good for pump gas. I don't run a lot of compression in this motor because I like it to rev out. I usually rev these things to the moon, so I don't like a lot of compression. And then, so we're good there. We tighten this up. This is torqued. This is good. All this is set. We'll put the front cover back on. We'll put the motor back in, and we'll start worrying about wiring these guys here. As you can see, I use all the same connectors for these, so we'll use weather packs or whatever, and we'll put them together, and then we wire the stop switch into these. This is our pickup here. We wire our stop switch into here, so when we stop switch triggers, it blanks, it grounds this out, and that's our stop switch. And then we have to wire in an on-off switch. The starter relay is already done. We run a wire to the box, and we'll have this thing running here in no time. Okay, so we never assume that this thing's airtight. We always check it every time. That's how we keep the insides from rusting and keep the insides looking so nice here. See that? That's perfect. That means none of our seals are pinched. That means our crank seals aren't leaking. Okay guys, we're gonna run up the hill here to my buddy Merlin's house to get this piece welded so we can mount the ignition onto the side of the hull. And hopefully he's around. Is this Merlin's old school garage?
This is Merlin's old school garage. What are you doing, Jimmy?
Working on my jet ski.
Jet ski? Well, I'm working on the Model A that made the trip across the country.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if it's cool or not. It needs some love. What are you doing?
I've got my ignition system all ready to go, and I need a bracket welded.
Uh-oh. Ooh, that looks aluminium.
Yeah.
What happens if I take them vice grips off?
Falls apart. Like my setup there?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We should be able to weld that. Like, put this motor back in. We missed something when we were working on this in Ohio.
What did we miss?
These two motor mount bolts.
Missing?
They're gone.
No kidding. Oh, you sure they were gone?
Yeah.
You sure they were gone when we started?
No, I'm not sure.
I thought we looked at those and they were in.
I don't know.
I thought you even, I remember you even making a comment about the motor mount bolts. We need to go back through that footage. I remember you saying something about that.
So,
they were there. They're not there anymore,
yeah,
though.
I keep feeling this clutch shake, and there's like this wobble in the front end.
Yeah.
Well, these bolts are gone, but these springs in here, I don't know why I didn't notice this in Ohio. I tightened this up in Ohio.
Okay.
These springs go underneath of this. This is supposed to be a flush. So this is like...
Wrong.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
Huh.
Yeah, so we're giving the old Model A little love.
Yeah, I see that.
It's long overdue, I think, for a little
Well, I want it to look nice.
What'd you bring it here for?
I want to look better than what I could do. Let's put it that way.
Like I said, what'd you bring it here for?
Right?
Come on, Jimmy.
So this plate here was on my ski already, and this plate here goes on the MSD. So if we join these two, in theory we could just screw it right back to the hull.
So So what you're saying is the MSD bolts to this.
No, the hole bolts to this, and the MSD bolts to this.
So all we need is like a couple of good little...
Exactly, yep.
Couple of good tacks here.
Yep, exactly.
A couple of good tacks. Isn't it like lunchtime or something?
It is lunchtime, as a matter of fact. I didn't want to start talking about food till after we got it welded.
Gloves are shrunk.
Right?
I feel like OJ's glove doesn't fit anymore. That ought to hold it. Look,
just like that.
She's ready for lunch too.
You hungry?
Hungry.
Me too. Let's go get some food. Okay, guys, we got back from lunch. Got our bracket mounted. This is the bracket I already had. I'd already had this mounted to my hull over there. Once upon a time, I did some testing with a Jetnetics total loss ignition system. So this was the mounting plate for that, and it's just been sitting there empty all these years. So I just welded this aluminum backing plate for the MSD, and it'll just sit there, hang on the side of the hull. Here we are. We've got our total loss system mounted to the side of the ski here. We've got our pickup lead. We got our kill switch set up back here. We've utilized the stock kill switch. We blocked off the old stator plate here, and then we've got the coil that we were using already. We went mounted that back into place. The coil's hooked up. We have a ground here that's not hooked up yet. We have the wire somewhere here, the positive wire. The main power wire is not hooked up yet either. We're going to run a switch up the handle pull, but we're ready to put the motor back in. So now we got our ground wire, got a starter wire. We zip tie our wires to keep them out of the drive shaft. It's good there, it's good there. Water line's done, starter line's done. Everything's done here except the motor mounts. This water line here, I have twin cooling set up, so I have fresh water going to the pipe, and then this is the out, and that circuit's complete. The secondary cooling comes out here and goes to these out here on the side. So that's the 3 outlets there, just in case you were wondering. Yeah, this is going to run up the handle pull all the way up to here. But for now, I just want to test fire it. And we also got to run the 2 outlets for the water. But at least we just need to see if it runs at this point. All right, you ready? Here goes. Got our power switch on, our lanyard in, and we got throttle, kill switch. Pretty good. So the stop switch is working like it's supposed to. Should see. Yep, sounds pretty good. Well, she's revving out now at least. Now we can start get some numbers and get some testing done. At least we can ride it. It's for sandbar ready.